the Dumb People Squad, aka the DPS, aka there's way too many of y'all in the game. So going back to our original topic, with the Cyclops thing, I mentioned that there's already exactly half of the total heroes in the game are DPS. So there's currently 25 out of 50. Um, and then, of course, the other 25 are split between tanks and healers. So, I call them the Dumb People Squad because just fundamentally speaking, a lot of the times these people just don't seem to have brains in their heads when it comes to forget the gameplay, like just the team comp, like before you even make it into the game. You see it all the time. I see it. They'll come in the game. Somebody will insta lock a DPS. Somebody else will insta lock a DPS. So obviously we've already got two DPS. Then we might get somebody that'll lock onto a tank, and maybe one person will lock onto a healer. So you're thinking, okay, we need one more healer, we need one more tank. Those other two people, it's a great chance that at least one of them, if not both of them, they're going to choose DPS. So you're going to end up with one healer, one tank, and four DPS. Or we've seen it to where it's five DPS and one healer. So
Yep.
they come in the game knowing they're going to play these characters. It's usually those Spider-Man mains or something like that. They don't care at all about what the team needs. They will just come in there and say, I'm going to play what I want to play, who I want to play. It doesn't matter. It's your job to make the adjustments. It's your job to win the game for us. But as far as I'm concerned, me and my house, we will serve the Spider-Man. I'm going to play this DPS regardless of what my team needs. So that, to me, is one of the biggest, if not the biggest issue in the community.
Oh man, seems like it's the hour is upon us, man, for the main event topic of the week, bro. It's the Dumb People Squad, brother.
Yes, sir.
And I could not agree with you anymore. And well said. You took the words right out of my mouth, bro. But it's too many incentives to run DPS on this game because, like you said, half of the roster are DPSs, just
Yes.
damage dealers. And damage is damage, man, at the end of the day. So you don't need 26 different versions of damage. You know what I'm saying? Like a few will suffice. But I feel like honestly, I feel like we've had this conversation before as well. I feel like DPS is the easiest role.
Yeah.
Tank, you know what I'm saying, is probably arguably one of the hardest. And I feel like healer is essentially the most important. I feel like the healers are the essential workers. But yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
DPS, I feel like we can do without so many. I don't say get rid of DPS altogether, but I mean realistically, tanks can DPS. Tanks
Correct.
they can serve the same purpose and they can survive longer.
Yeah.
You know, so they have more sustainability. They can survive better, and like a Thor, he can still output damage with the best DPSs on the game. And
Agreed. Look at Rogue.
but Rogue another high damage output. And but people just like you said, get in these matches and don't understand the assignment. They will see the team comp. Like you said, you see we need an extra tank or an extra healer, and they just want to add another DPS to the mix, which and then they're not good at DPSing on top of that. So
But there's always
if you're
that.
gonna your one job on DPS, if you so if you so choose to, is to kill, to get eliminations, to get picks. And if you're not doing that, you're not really serving your purpose on DPS. And I would just rather you, if you're already putting up, let's say healer numbers, if you don't have high kills, you don't expect your healer to go into the game and lead the team in kills because obviously they're not doing their job. So their healing's going to suffer if they're DPSing too much. So if you're a DPS and you have low numbers, then you could essentially just swap to a healer, bro. Like we can get more value out of you healing because you're not doing the killing, So I just feel like and right full circle moment back to Cyclops. So I didn't get to mention it earlier, but but you did mention it. But that's my high hopes of him being a tank because we need less people on DPS and we need to spread the wealth. You know what I'm saying? So but we shall see, man. It's gonna be a roll of dice this week. They've been keeping they've been keeping it under wraps, pretty good, no leaks or anything as far as what role he's going to be. But I pray to God we do not get a DPS again.
Yeah, I mean, look, bro, we already know it's probably a good chance that it's going to end up being, that he's going to end up being a DPS. But there are people, I'm on the Reddit thread and stuff a lot, and I look and there are people who they're still holding out hope that he will be a tank. I would love for him to be a tank. I would even like for him to be a healer. To be honest, really anything other than a DPS, I don't care.
And
He could be like heal pool and tank pool. Just take away DPS pool. I don't care. Like he could play both roles, but I just really don't want to see another DPS, man. Like I just really think that's just fundamentally one of the biggest issues with the community and with like the lack of balance in gameplay and things like that. But it seems like NetEase are basically some DPS lovers themselves because we even talked about like the Warlock nerf and stuff. Like they want to make these healers into DPSs and stuff now. They want to everybody's a DPS. I mean they're giving the tanks more DPS capabilities. Everybody's just a DPS now. So it's just I don't think it's ever going to get better as far as the balance goes. I don't think we'll ever see a time where the tanks and the healers will catch up. But I do think that they've kind of overdone it quite a bit with the DPSs right now.
oh, we're absolutely cooked in the community, brother. Like you said, I think NetEase clearly has favoritism towards DPS. They're even catering a lot of other characters, even the strategists that they've been introducing lately, as far as Gambit, like the White Fox, like they they can multitask. They basically can DPS and put out pretty good healing output and heal pool. Like you said, the MVP merchant himself. He's basically
Yes.
right. I think we can all agree he's a glorified DPS that can, sustain himself mostly. He can keep the team up in team fights, but he really plays like a DPS, and I think that's the route they're taking right now. Is right. They're just making more characters DPS oriented. No matter if they introduce a new tank or a new healer, what I'm saying, they're still going to have somewhat of DPS capabilities, and maybe they're just catering to their larger fan base. Maybe the bottom line is the bottom dollar. Maybe it's the DPSs that are making the most money in this game, and then maybe that's why they continue to just push forward and just crank out DPS after DPS each season. So I'm thinking it's all about the money, man. It's got to be, bro, at this point, because I don't see any other incentive as to why we're so top heavy in one role on the game when we should be diversifying our portfolio.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. Everything you just said. But it goes back to what we were talking about last week with the whole loser mentality thing, man. I just feel like it's so easy for, especially in quick play, obviously, it's so easy for people to get that fourth DPS or whatever, and then if you try to like balance the team's comp, a little bit better, oh, it's just DPS, and then or it's just quick play. Sorry, but I think the DPSs are like the biggest offenders when it comes to that. You see the Spider-Man mains that will sit there and go 0 for 10, in quick match or whatever with Spider-Man because they want to play him, or the people who will get, like an Iron Fist or something and not be good, or get a Black Widow and want to throw and stuff like that. I just really feel like right now the game is unbalanced in a lot of ways when it comes to the way that the games play out. But I think a lot of the underlining, reasons with that, the fundamental reasons behind that really start with the DPS and the imbalance with just when you look at the character wheel.
Absolutely, man. It's overkill, and I think it's ruining the game. Um, yeah, like you said, it's not balanced because it's just what I think with 20, like you said, 25 to 26 DPSs, and then they kind of spread out the rest of the roster between tanks and healers.
Correct.
Um, but yeah, so that I mean, and it's not fun. Like so, yeah, I hear people say all the time, "Oh, DPS is fun. It's the funnest role." It should be the funnest role because you have multiple options versus tanks and healers. We have to continuously cycle the same players. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's the same counters. You have to play the same lineups with either those two classes. So I think it's sucking the life out of the game. And I feel like if they want to keep this game alive and keep it relevant, especially when something like a Grand Theft Auto drops later this year, if they want to be a competitor, I think they need to switch gears, man, and yeah, just give us more variety at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. And also, if you really think about it, man, like we were talking before about like the way that the games play out and stuff. A lot of the times, like the mindset, you'll go into a game thinking, okay, hopefully this will be a good, competitive game, whether it's quick match, comp, whatever. It doesn't matter what game mode. But as soon as you see somebody insta lock that first DPS, and then they insta lock the second DPS, and then you get a third DPS, like your mood is already ruined, and you're
Oh yeah.
already gonna be less. You say it you put it in the chat all the time, like they hate you for it, but it's true. Like when they get 3 or 4 DPSs, or and one healer or whatever, you'll be like, I'm not tanking for y'all, and that's what
Hmm.
creates that negative game, because it's like, why is it that I always got to be the person to make up for my team not being good teammates? Why do I have to be the one that is the bigger person, so to speak, and I'm the one that's actually concerned about us having the best team comp that we can have, and us having the best chance of winning that we can have. But the people that get the dumb people squad, they get to just come in and just get who they want. But I got to run a healer. They get 4 DPSs. I got to be a healer now because we obviously need a healer. Or they get 3 DPSs and 2 healers. Okay, well, I got to be a tank. I got to be a solo tank now because we obviously need a tank. The other team will have like 2 or 3 tanks. We got 0, so we're not going to stand a chance. So why do I have to be the person to make the switch? They never do. And I think that just makes it, to me, it just kind of kills like your enthusiasm for like having a good game, because it's just like, all right, well, clearly y'all don't want to win, so I'm not gonna be the only person trying. And then you end up with those lopsided, not fun games. People start leaving, or people will just stand in spawn and just let the game pass them by, stuff like that. That's how you. I think that's kind of how you end up with that real imbalance and that real difference in the fun you were having as opposed to the nonsense that you're dealing with now.
Yeah, I think long story short, um, it's just making the game unplayable. It's the state of the game right now. It's not in a very good spot, and I attribute that solely to the many DPS characters they have on this game, and the mentality behind the players that play this game. Because you don't have right just because they have more DPSs than any other role doesn't mean you have to insta lock DPS, but that's a choice at the end of the day. And a lot of the people, they just want to have fun at the sake of of their teammates. So like you said, we talk about this pretty much on a daily basis, as far as having to be selfless and having to flex, what I'm saying, having to have range and play multiple characters while they get to just sit back and have fun. Well, that's not fair to the rest of the team. We don't get to have fun. We have to suffer and
Facts.
try to figure out a way to work around the DPSs or the dumb people squad. That's not fair. I don't think anybody should have to sacrifice just for the sake of people wanting to run one specific gameplay or one style. And I don't know, man. Like I hope it gets better, but I just don't have a lot of I don't know. I just don't have a lot of faith behind it. And I think they're just going to continue to introduce more and more DPSs. And they should just, and we were talking about this earlier, some of these DPSs don't even belong as a DPS on this game, like a Black Widow, for example. Some of these characters are so bad at their jobs that they they could just be changed to a different role together. They could just be reclassified. Like we can make her a healer. Have get you already got Deadpool that's got healing bullets. Why don't we have 2 healers that can heal with bullets? You know,
The healing
uh,
sniper rifle.
and actually she has a team up with Phoenix that turns her into a healer. So you give her a team up with another character that essentially turns her into a healer, but you just won't change her class altogether. She's bro. If we're just being honest, she's dog shit on DPS.
Hey man, that's the universal throw character, man. As soon as you see that, as soon as you see that Black Widow picture pop up, Oh
Like
man, they should turn Squirrel Girl into a healer. Can you imagine those nuts flying around being doing heals rather than damage? I think that'd be kind of funny to see too. But
I'm all for it, man. We should start a petition.
listen, man. Um, I, like I said, I just think the balance just isn't there, man. And when you open up the game and you see a million DPSs and a few healers and a few tanks, it's like, oh well. I mean, clearly this game wants me to play this middle section here because that's where all the characters are. I told you when I first started playing Marvel Rivals, I started out as Iron Man. I was Iron Man every single game, and my boy, that's wild. We were playing, and that's all I would be while he was trying out different characters, trying to figure out who he would like, who he wouldn't like. I'm just Iron Man, Iron Man, Iron Man. No matter what my team needed, I was the third DPS, I was the fourth DPS. Sometimes I was the first one, but I'm just insta-locking Iron Man in season 0. But then once one day he just came to me. He's like, bro, you need to try somebody different, man. Like you're not really helping. Like, yeah, you putting up a lot of kills, but sometimes we don't need another DPS. We already got that, and we can use another. We can use a tank, or we can use another healer, or whatever. And so I told you that's when I switched to Groot, and instantly. First of all, Groot it was fun to me. I mean, it was very fun playing Groot, but also like it was a different it's a different mindset playing a DPS as opposed to playing a tank. So while DPS is the most fun in a way, I mean, you're still gonna have fun, assuming that you're good. You're gonna still have fun or be able to anyway on the other roles as well. And I mean, if your team is humming like a well-oiled machine, I mean, isn't that what it's all about at the end of the day? Is or it's supposed to be?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely on board with that. It's right. It should be right. It's a team game. It's not I and team or I play what I want to play and you guys play what you have to play. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah, and I mean, like even with the way that we always talk about people that get they'll get a character and then the other team will counter it and they won't even switch off. Like you'll be sitting there with Iron Man, but you're getting beat to hell by a Scarlet or a Spider Man or a Namor or something or a Punisher or somebody, and you just won't switch because that's the character that you said you were gonna play coming into this game, and no matter what happens, you will die a million times and let your team lose rather than just making a swap. And maybe next game you can try that character again. Maybe next game they won't have your counter, or maybe next game they'll just not be good, and you'll just be able to play what you want to play because it may make more sense in the next game. But they're not. They don't seem to have the. I don't know if it's the ability or if it's a skill issue or a will issue, but they just won't make that change that's needed in order for the team to come out, with the best chance of winning. And to me, that's supposed to be what it's all about. Your team having the best chance of winning.
absolutely, bro. You would right. You would think that's the main idea, but I think it's apparent now that people would rather have fun and lose versus play the right way and win.
Well, like I said, it goes back to the loser mentality, bro. It's just quit play, or even if it's comp, it's just a game, bro. Like I'm cool with wasting your time, and we can lose all. I don't care if we lose, win, whatever, as long as I get to play my character. And I just think that that's and like you said a little while ago, that's why the game's been it's harder and harder to play. It's certainly harder and harder to get a lot of games in back to back. We used to be able to play like all day and not really get bored. Every game was kind of different, but now you know outside of the teammate names may change, but you pretty much every quick match you're gonna see somebody insta-lock Spider-Man. You're gonna see somebody insta-lock whatever the new character is, whoever the server admin as you call them. And then the rest of the team, they basically want the team to be built around them like they're the star. And I just think that again, you just a lot of times you've already lost the game before you even get into the game because you lost in the lobby.
Facts. You've already lost before the game starts. And also another fun fact, I'll just throw this stat out there that
Okay.
the one the 1-3-2 comp, with mainly the three DPS and the solo tank comp
Oh yeah.
is one. It has one of the two between triple heals and triple DPSs. They both have the two lowest win rates in comp, and you would think that would incentivize people to run at least a 2-2-2 comp And granted, it changes, right? Like your comp depends on what the opponents are running. So sometimes you may need triple heals. Sometimes you may need, like if they're running a devil dinosaur, you may need triple DPS because he feeds off of tanks. He's
True.
able to,
Yeah.
sustain, and like self heal and things of that nature by grabbing tanks and taking them to the back line and just demolishing them. So that benefits him. But if you starve him of another tank and you just run all damage, right, you can kill him faster, and right, you pretty much shut down a part of his kit. But yeah, those two comps, triple healers and triple DPSs, have the two lowest win rates, bro. And people refuse to still run at least one to two tanks.
Well, I think they delude themselves into thinking it'll be different for me, of course, because I'm the best so and so. I can be a third DPS because I'm the best one. I'm gonna be the reason why we win, and then you see them get diffed. and then right before the end of the game, what do they always do? They switch to that third healer.
You know what's coming. If they can't get it done on DPS, we can always use that third healer.
I mean, in my opinion, we could have used the third healer earlier in the game if you were just gonna switch to it. It doesn't make sense to switch at the very end and give us 100 heals. I mean, that didn't do anything for the team, but you want to try to deflect from the fact that you were on DPS and you were selling.
Right. So first, ask questions later. GG no heals.
GG no heals,
GG no
guys.
kill. About to start putting GG no kills, GG no pills.
Facts. Well, we always say no pills, no heals.
That part. Hey, it's give and take. So if you're not peeling, you're not helping us out, you're not helping us help you, then hey, I don't want to see anybody pinging critical health need healing in chat. Uh, we need some protection back here to make sure that you guys can stay alive. So if we're not getting that, then you don't get heals.
Nah,
Or
facts. I mean, we just gonna lose, bro.
hey, I've adopted the philosophy recently, man. Everybody just want to have fun, right? DPSs just want to have fun. So when they enter the lobby and they start that, I just throw with them, bro. Like that's my new strategy. I'm like, well, I want to have fun too. There's no sense in you just playing the DPS and or the new character, or whatever. And you having all the fun. Let me join in.
I mean, yeah, I agree 100%. So let's just throw and see how it goes.
That part.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Multiverse Locker Room. As always, we want to thank everybody who's listening, supporting the show, and joining us on this crazy ride as we continue to build our locker room one episode at a time. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to follow us, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. Leave us some likes and share it with a friend, especially those friends who spend way too much time arguing about Marvel rivals on the internet. Let us know your thoughts on Cyclops Arrival coming up, this week's Locker Room Meltdown, and of course our hot take of the week, where we write, where we completely out of our minds. We want to hear from you. So until next time, always use your comms, keep your teammates alive, and try not to be the reason why your team loses. For Kosa, I'm GoatDawg. This has been the Multiverse Locker Room. No meta, just mayhem. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.